Well, breaking news here at Sky News. The US Pentagon press secretary has confirmed an explosion outside Kabul International Airport. Let's get more on that now for you from Sky's Foreign Affairs editor, Deborah Haynes. She joins me now. Deborah, what more can you tell us?
Well, details are very thin at the moment. We're waiting for more. I spoke to a British defence source who said that they were aware of reports of this explosion and possibly gunfire. There will be more details soon, and as soon as we get them, we will bring them to you. But this is an attack, it seems, an explosion at least, that comes after multiple warnings of an imminent, credible, lethal threat of a terrorist attack outside the airport, the focus of this massive evacuation effort. British and American officials and Australian officials urged people to stay away from the airport because of this terrorist warning. People are desperate to get on these evacuation flights. Thousands remained at the outside the gates, waiting to try to get in despite the threat. And now it seems that an explosion has happened. We don't have any details yet on whether there were any casualties, what happened, what caused the explosion. But as soon as we get more details, we'll bring them to you.
And Deborah, of course, there were reports that this may well happen, that the threat was imminent, and people were asked not to go to the airport unless they actually had paperwork. This is all, of course, unfolding as the evacuation effort carries on.
It really is underlining the sense of desperation. I spoke to one former interpreter for the British military. He is at the airport. He is outside the airport. I haven't been able to reach him. He's outside the airport with his wife, with his 3-month-old baby daughter, and with his 3-year-old son. He's been there for 5 days, waiting, trying to get onto one of these evacuation flights. He's someone who has eligible documents to get him on a flight, and yet he hasn't been called forward. He told me that he was in hell, waiting in the dust with no food, with no shelter, with his family. And I asked him, why did he come today when there was this terrorist threat warning? And the only response he had for me was the fact that he doesn't believe he has a life without getting onto that aircraft. He regards the Taliban as a massive threat to him. And he said to me that he couldn't imagine what would happen to him if he didn't manage to get himself and his family on that flight. So he was willing to take that risk and wait outside the airport in the hope that he would get on one of these last evacuation flights. Many others clearly felt the same, and that's why they chose not to heed that warning. They don't believe they've got anything to lose, and I think that really does underline the absolute tragedy of this that's unfolding. The British and the Americans were saying that their focus on the threat was regarding a group linked to Islamic State Khorasan, saying that they posed an imminent threat. And it's not going to be lost on anybody that this intervention in Afghanistan, launched 20 years ago in the wake of the September 11 terrorist attacks on the United States, to stop Afghanistan from being used as a haven by terrorism. 20 years on, as this chaotic exit unfolds, a terrorist threat overshadowing it, and now news of this explosion. We don't know yet any more details, like I said, but as soon as we get that, we'll bring them to you.